Okay, so this is the key to section 7.1 part B. Again, we're simplifying rational expressions, and you want to show the work, show your work to receive full credit. All right, so again, you're gonna factor in numerators and denominators, and then you're gonna reduce the common factors. Okay, so in the numerator here, I can factor out a 9x. So I get 9x times x plus 9. So that's what I get. 9x times x is 9x squared. 9x times a positive 9 is a positive 81x. You can always check your work. Over here, it looks like I can factor out an x first. So I get x times x squared plus 8x minus 9. Now be careful. You want to make sure that you factor completely. Okay, so whenever you're simplifying rational expressions, make sure you factor completely. So this x squared plus 8x minus 9, I can factor this further. So you want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite everything else over x times, and then that's going to be my two binomials for this. And so it's going to work is, and remember last sign's negative, so these signs in here are going to be different. So it's going to work is going to be x plus 9 times x minus 1. Again, you can always check yourself. X times x is x squared. A positive 9 times a negative 9 is a negative 9. The outer is a negative 1x. The inner is a positive 9x. And when I add them up, I get a positive 8x. All right, and so now you're going to reduce. So the 9, the factor of 9, there's no factor it can reduce with down here. But this x, this factor of x, I can reduce these, and I'm left with 1s in there as factors. And over here, I can reduce these x plus 9s. I'm left with 1 as factors. And that's all I can do. So the answer is going to be 9 times 1 is 9. Over 1 times x minus 1 is x minus 1. So that's what I get here. All right, the next one. Okay, so here, it looks like I can factor out a 3. So I get 3 times r squared minus 13r plus 30 divided by, and I'm going to go ahead and factor this right now. So what's going to work is going to be r minus 10, r plus 7. r minus 10, r plus 7 works. Again, you can always check yourself, follow this thing out. Now again, just like we talked about here, see this trinomial, I can factor that further. So you want to do that. You want to factor the numerators and the denominators completely. So 3, and let's see what two binomials will work. r, it looks like it'll be 10 and 3. So r, and remember the last sign's positive, so these signs in here are the same. It's going to be that middle sign. So r minus 10, r minus 3, divided by, just rewrite this over, r minus 10 times r plus 7. And it looks like the only thing I can reduce are the r minus 10s. And again, when you're reducing, you're left with factors of 1. And so then I get 3 times r minus 3 divided by r plus 7. So 3 times r minus 3 divided by r plus 7. Okay, so that was number 2. All right, number 3. Now notice this right here. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it. So you see there are 4 terms. So what you want to do is try factor by grouping. And so when I group the first 2 and group the last 2, from the first group, I can factor out an x, and I get x times y plus 3. From the second group, remember you factor out that negative component, so it'll be negative 2. And when I factor out negative 2 times y is a negative 2y. And a negative 2 times a positive 3 is a negative 6. And so you factor out the y plus 3. And you end up with, when you factor out the y plus 3, you're left with an x. Factor out the y plus 3, you're left with the negative 2. All right, so that's my numerator. So my numerator is going to be y plus 3 times x minus 2 divided by. Now, to factor this one, I am going to, so it will be y plus 3 times y minus 2. And the y plus 3's divide out. You're left with 1's in their place. And that's about, remember, that's an x, that's a y, so they're not alike. So then you end up with x minus 2 divided by y minus 2. All right, so that's the answer to that one. So x minus 2, y minus 2. Okay, the next one, number 4, all right, so the GCF of the numerator is 1. So let's go directly to the two binomials. And the same thing at the denominator. All right, so let's see what we get. So there's only one possibility for 3x squared, and that's 3x and x. And again, one possibility for 2 as well. Let's see, what's going to work is if I put the 2 here and the 1 there, and then the larger of the outer and the inner will take that middle sign. So that's going to be this and this. It has to be negative. Okay, and always check yourself. 3x times x is 3x squared. A negative 1 times a positive 2 is a negative 2. And to get that 5x, I do the outer and the inner. The outer is a positive 6x. The inner is a negative 1x. And when you add them up, you do get positive 5x. Okay, over here, let's see, 7x and x. That's the only possibility for 7x squared. For 4, I can use 4 and 1, 2 and 2. What's going to work will be the 2 and the 2. And always look at what you have. Remember, the chances are you're going to have to reduce something. So you see where you had that x plus 2? Well, see if this is going to be the x plus 2. So if you put, let's say, plus 2 here, then a positive 2 times a negative 2, positive times negative 2 gives you the negative 4. And so therefore you can reduce this. But make sure you get this denominator. Use the FOIL method. 7x times x is 7x squared. A negative 2 is a positive 2 is a negative 4. The outer is 14x. The inner is a negative 2x. And when I add them up, I do get 12x. All right, and then reduce. You get factors of 1 in their place, and you get 3x minus 1 divided by 7x minus 2. So that's the answer for that one. So 3x minus 1 divided by 7x minus 2. All right, so that's the key to 7.1, Part B.